Good evening. It is now 5:30. I'd like to welcome you to the Auburn Board of Health meeting. It is September 28th, 2015. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and with that, I'd like to review the agenda, add or remove any items. Darlene, do you have anything that you need to move around or add or subtract?
I don't think I have to move anything around. I am going to add an emergency preparedness.
Okay. Under
topic.
directors?
Yes, under directors update.
Okay. EP.
And
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. Steve, do you have anything to add to this today?
No.
Okay. Okay, bill schedule. Do we have one today?
No bill schedule.
No bill schedule. Easy enough. We'll click through that. No minutes tonight, so we go right into the agenda. Our first hearing will be at 5:45, so we have 15 minutes where we can start right up with directors' issues. And Darlene, why don't you just hit them and go right down the list?
Okay, great, thank you. So I wanted to, in your packet, I want to first remind the board that the town manager and town council has scheduled a board and commission training on October 21st. It's going to be a Wednesday at 6 p.m. in the Board of Selectmen room. And this is a yearly training that they offer to the boards and committees to review the open meeting law, the state ethics, the Roberts rules, and all basically the regular ground rules, I guess you'd call it, for running meetings.
And they always do it the week of the MHOA.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't made it in 6
Yeah.
years.
So they'll have that, so if you're available and can make it, that would be wonderful. The Wednesday the 21st at 6 p.m. and like I said, right here in the Selectmen's room. If you are going to attend, if you could just let me know, I'll forward the RSVP to the BOS. And then I also wanted to, each year about this time, we also do the appointment for Region 2. They just update their records to make sure that the board has appointed a liaison on your behalf to go to the Region 2 Public Health Emergency Preparedness meetings. So we have the same appointment letter as in years past. So that will effectively be good from now until next September. Thank you. Okay. We also have in your packets, we have an arbovirus, a press release that went out within the past 2 weeks. I'm sure you've seen on the news and kind of heard. Every September, it's kind of a rule of thumb that West Nile and Tripoli heightened awareness comes out, and so this is no different. Worcester has put out some press releases for some West Nile positive mosquitoes that they've received, and then we also, because we are an adjacent community, we also put out some proactive press release as well, just to make people aware. As in years past, we've had areas where Central Mass Mosquito Control target areas.
Yep.
So at this time, Mass Department of Public Health puts out their report every Monday. 3 human cases of West Nile in the state. Fortunately, no human triple E cases. So they'll continue testing right through the first frost, just like they normally do. We're fortunate in the fact that we have Central Mass Mosquito Control. They do proactive measures all year long. They spray, and then, if we do, by chance, have some positive mosquitoes either for West Nile or Tripoli, they would treat appropriately. So I just wanted to update you on that. You have the press release we put out as well. So that takes care of that. The yard waste dates have been announced. Every year at this time, the leaves will start turning. We're going to have Republic, our trash hauler, the town's trash hauler, will be picking up leaf pickup, and those are 4 Saturdays consecutive, and they will be starting actually on Halloween. So October 31st, Saturday. You're going to have your leaves out in yard bags, the paper bags, or baskets, something that they can take and throw in. So they'll go around and pick those up. Just like with the trash, you want to have, residents want to have the leaf waste at the curb by 7 a.m. So starting October 31st, November 7th, November 14th, November 21st. So that schedule has been posted on our town website. We're announcing it at the meetings. We also sent it out through social media. We've posted it here at the town clerk's office, and I've shared it with senior center, the other town departments, at the tax collector's office. So we have already started getting calls on it, so that's good. Animal control update, I just wanted to let you know, we're pleased to update you that we have 1,900 dogs currently licensed. That number is up from last year. We are continuing to have people come in. Our animal control officer has sent out reminder letters and so forth, so those numbers continue to rise. Wanted to update you on notification that we received from the Attorney General's office. I think last meeting I had let you know that they were reviewing some of the mobile home parks that we have in town for housing community rules. And we have gotten some good news for Mara Vista Manufactured Housing Community. We received basically their stamp of approval for the rules and regulations. So I just wanted to update you, since the last update was that we had some community rules that didn't pass. These have passed. So Mara Vista is up to date. Okay, and then also, because we're almost into October, this is usually the time we start putting our flu clinics together. We are in the process of receiving vaccine right now, and we will be putting together the flu clinics. We typically do the seniors first, so we'll get that flu clinic scheduled with the senior center director, and I know that we've already received calls. People are interested, so that's a good thing. The board, obviously, just a reminder, it's an important function that you have allowed us to purchase vaccine, as well as what the state issues. The state vaccine that is being distributed is obviously under the specific requirements for the populations that it can be given to, are underinsured populations, and priority for school-age children. So we will we'll be partnering, with those populations to see if there's a need in getting the vaccine out appropriately, in addition to our private pay. So I just want to let you know the clinics. I've already spoken with our public health nurse, Cheryl Rowinski, and I think she's already getting geared up for food clinics in the next month. I think, let me just see. I think that is a quick update. Any questions?
Was that the EP part?
That was the EP.
Okay.
Yep,
I
sorry.
just want to make sure before I cross it
Yep.
off.
All right, Yep.
You had solid waste down. I know you talked about yard waste. Was there anything on solid waste besides we have people coming in tonight?
No, that was gonna be for the trash abatements,
Okay,
and the yard waste.
okay, good. All right. So you can move into section B, inspections, nuisance complaints, and all that stuff.
Sure. Yep.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't know if you spoke about this, but we had all of our schools open up. So we had 2 brand new schools. We opened up 9 West Street. I hope you all had an opportunity to tour it when they had their opens. It really is nice. They put in a nice kitchen. They did a good job. Also, at the same time they were doing that, they renovated the old middle school, which is now called Swanson Intermediate. So we spent a lot of time there shifting food. We did closing inspections, or I did, on the schools that closed, and we shifted all the food around to the different coolers with refrigerated trucks, and did a lot of inspections on freezers and refrigerator temps, and how they needed to monitor it, and everyone worked together and did a great job. So I'm happy to say that all the schools are up and running, and hopefully we'll have a successful year. The schools that are closed, we did do a closing inspection, so there is no food left in anything, and everything's in a sanitary manner, so we will report that on our report. Temporary events, we had the Relay for Life, and now we have lots of 5Ks coming up. The Fall Festival is Columbus Day. We have Dave Broder's race coming up. Over the weekend, we had permitted another road race that I believe one of the PTOs put on, that I think is the 2nd annual. We have 2 new establishments that have applied to open, although I don't believe they're getting close to that. One is Yogurt Island. They've been working on a renovation. They haven't even pulled the building permit, but they came to us about 8 weeks ago, so I'm not sure where they're at. They were going to be located, I'm not sure, they call it the West End Mall, where the BP is there.
Yep.
The old dance place. And the next place that we've had some interest in, they're coming to a DCG meeting, is the old Pizzeria Regina closed in the Albemarle Mall, and a Thai place wants to open up inside of there. So they have submitted a partial application, no floor plan, and they haven't come to DCG yet. And I think that you're all aware too, for the closing, we had McDonald's closed on Route 20. They're in the process, the renovations are just to change their roof line. There's
Same
nothing.
thing they did in Shrewsbury. They don't like people to see closed
Yeah.
McDonald's, so they changed the roof line, they changed the look, make it look like any other.
Yeah, we've had a lot of calls on,
Yeah.
we don't know anything other than what they said, that they were
Mhm.
making them changes. And then I had an intern who worked over the summer who did, he started out shadowing me to do the low risk. And then we kind of did joint ones together, and then at the end I was shadowing him. He did a great job. He's back in school, and the second part of his internship is to draw us up a request for the state to go into a risk-based inspections. And it's really just for the board. We want him to do a board presentation to kind of, it kind of went along with, I did take him into some medium risk, actually took him into one that we would consider one of our full-service restaurants, so he could see the difference, but primarily trained him on the low risk so he could finish his project. He has about 30 hours of a research project to do a presentation. I would assume he's probably a month out, and then he'll give you the figures that he thinks the demographics of Auburn could stand.
All right, any communicable disease?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we might as well get that out of the way, we got a minute.
Yep, absolutely.
About run-of-the-mill stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we know if Mr. Kamasi is gonna come to the meeting tonight?
I invited him, I don't know.
Okay.
if he's gonna come.
We got 20 seconds and then it's 5:45 and we can open the hearing.
Give him a copy of this,
No, just one moment.
I have what we wrote.
Oh, okay.
His application being submitted.
Okay, it's now 5:45. I'm going to open the hearing for mobile food truck, Johnny's Catering. Well, you guys can start. Mr. Kamasi's not here, so we can start, and we'll start with your information first. I've read the letter, so.
Okay. So, we have the mobile food business for Johnny's Catering for a hearing, scheduled for a hearing. The mobile food was observed operating without a valid permit. So we have, the letter in your packet, obviously you can see, was sent out with a fine. Since that time, Mr. Kamasi has come in, I'm told, from Eileen, and he has rectified the fine and the requirements for the permit. So I will let Eileen update you on that piece of it. But I also just was concerned in the fact, because we, as you may recall, had the same set of circumstances for not having a valid permit last year. So just wanted to, make sure that Mr. Kamasi was going to be able to follow the requirements going forward for being a mobile food business.
And he's not, actually that's discussion. I can wait for that.
Eileen, can you update?
When we sent out our renewals in November, we did a real good job tracking them as of December 31st. And Mr. Kamasi did pay on January 12th. He sent in just the application, none of the supporting documents. So that's where the phone call started. We had noted that he was driving his truck at the end of the year and it had been an accident. So when I reached out to him, he stated he was having some work done in his truck and he would come in for an inspection after that. We set something up for the end of January and he didn't show up, he didn't call. I reached out to him again in February. We set something up for February 25th and he said, yeah, I'm just getting my truck fixed and lettered, I'll be in on the 25th. When he didn't come in on the 25th, my assumption was that he wasn't operating, that he hadn't gone forward with his truck. And so I left it there. He had paid, I assumed when he finished he would call. We did get a call from another town wanting copies of his permits, and I told them that he wasn't permitted yet, he was working on his truck. And I reached out to him at that time. And when he called back, he wanted to come in for an inspection, we noted that his paperwork wasn't up to date. His hawkers and peddlers hadn't been applied for. So we told him to go out, get that, bring us the paperwork for the base of operation, insurance, the things that he needed, which he did do. And he came in on the 20th. So because we had seen him operating in between the phone call to him to ask him to do this, and the time that he actually got his hawkers and peddlers, we fined him. He came in, paid the fine, dropped off the paperwork, so he applied for that in September, and he dropped off the other information that I asked for. So last Wednesday, I did an inspection, and he was fully compliant, and we stickered his truck. So he is now able to operate in compliance with the town of Auburn. We kept him on the agenda because we just feel like it is the second time. We have paperwork for last year that he had to send out and have him come in late.
Any more, any more evidence? Okay.
I don't,
This is
she may have, the state hawkers and peddlers was applied for in September?
September
Yeah.
16th.
And I know why. Any, I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary part.
A motion.
Second. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion. All right, so he's not seasonal, he's year-round, correct?
Correct.
Now, is it a truck or a trailer?
It's a truck.
It's a truck, okay, that's, all right. I'm dealing with a trailer, so mine, that's why mine's different from yours.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a truck.
Okay.
It's in the bed of
It's, yeah, it's one of it's the canteen truck, opened up the sides and stuff like that?
Really nice. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, just want to make sure. Well, I wish Mr. Kamasi was here so we could speak to him about this, but, yeah, I mean, the only thing we can do is if he doesn't reapply at the end of this year for the beginning of next year, a letter goes out saying since he hasn't renewed and he has a track record in the past of not renewing till we find him, you know, then he should, if he's not going to renew, we need a letter from him stating whether he's going to be in business in town or he's not going to be in business in town. That's my opinion, just because we can't keep chasing. We finally get the restaurants in order. We had restaurants that weren't paying until October. We finally get them all in line, and now we have the canteen trucks that are having issues. So I don't know how else to say it, but if, you know, if he's supposed to have his permitting in by December, if he's not, we send a letter out stating you did not send in your permit, you will not be allowed to work in the town of Auburn, and leave it at that. If we catch him, then it's fine, since per day, I think, is what we can do. We can fine per day. If we find him on a Tuesday, and then you find him again on a Friday, you count every day in between, because you have to say if he was here on Tuesday and he was here on Friday, he must have worked Wednesday, Thursday. So, I don't know how else to do it. I think that's, right now, that's the only way. We have to play hardball, and people in town, we have to, you know, the office has to keep running. And if we're chasing down one person, that means we're not getting somebody else's inspection. So we have to keep moving forward. Sorry, do you have anything to say?
No.
If I-
That-
if I
yeah.
may.
Yeah, it's discussion. Go ahead.
Because this is the second time, and because we've spent a lot of time on this one establishment, and I know Eileen has gone through and tried to be as accommodating as possible with scheduling inspections, you know, the amount of time that it takes for her to focus on this establishment doing the same thing twice, you know, I would say if we have to go through this and the renewal period going forward, you know, third time is,
Well, what I would suggest is next time, if this does happen next year, comes in front of the board, it'll be mandated that he comes in front of the board.
I would, I don't know if the board would entertain it, but we allowed Mr. Kamasi to come in and meet the requirements in order to get permitted. If he's operating next time without a permit, I would say that he doesn't operate until he goes before the board.
And I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. How do you feel about that? It's habitual. And it's just, you know, this is what it comes down to, and just say, yeah, this is it. Anybody who's not operating, who's operating without their permit has to come from the board. And if we don't meet for 3 weeks, sorry. You know?
I would also add that Darlene had brought up a point of maybe scheduling their inspections as part of the renewal packet. But like restaurants, they run out at midnight on December 31st, and they shouldn't be open on January 1st unless they haven't paid us. That we probably should be inspecting these trucks in December. If they're going to send in their renewal, the renewal packet's going to go out at the end of October. So really, they could have November and into the middle of December, but they shouldn't be operating after December 31st. Their permit is expired.
That's true. You can send that in a letter stating that all inspections must be done before opening for the new season starting January 1st. And then I mean, how many, what do we have, 6?
No, we actually only have 3, because I'm not including the ice cream trucks.
Yeah.
And the other 2.
Yeah, so we just say, you have these dates, pick a date. Usually some of their slow time, they might be able to get in here and, you know, get a quick inspection before they head out into a stop. I've done them at location. So if they say, hey, I'm going to be at this location between 9 and 9:45, sometimes it's good to see them while they're operating too. So if you can say, hey, yeah, where you going to be at this time, I'll come and see you if you're in town. because it's supposed to give you a list of the places they go, correct?
Yeah, I
So-
did, not without addresses.
So
but
if
I got the
you
list.
have that, then you can say, okay, well, you're gonna be here this day. I'll come out and see you. If you're gonna be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 o'clock, I'll be out one day that week and come see you Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, I think that way you get to see what they're doing in operation. You get to make sure, because I'll tell you, when trucks bring their trucks in, oh, they're always perfect. But when you catch them out on the road, you never know what you're gonna find. So, all right. Any other discussion? Okay. Do you have a motion to close?
Motion to close?
Second motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, and now that was the discussion part. Now I need a motion to see we don't really have
An action to.
an action. Actually, we can make a motion to follow up with Eileen and Darlene were saying about inspections being done beforehand. Before we can put that, or we can just leave it the way it is.
Because I think that really applies to all our vendors, not
Yep.
just this one particular, so.
Okay,
I
that's
think
fine.
it's a good, help for you guys going.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So I can't see any specific action for this vendor. He's
Sure.
been fined, he's paid his fine.
All right, then I'll take a motion to
Motion
close.
to close.
I second the motion to close the hearing. It is a roll call vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ray votes aye. Okay, food truck is closed. We got 4 minutes till the trash abatement
Did
start.
we get any letters or requests on that package for the abatements?
Oh,
I didn't see
the,
them.
I'm trying to get up to speed before.
yeah.
Yeah, before they come in, yeah.
And I want to apologize, I didn't know that Darlene wanted me to deliver the packages to you, I'm so sorry. I would have delivered
I've
these
been
last
working.
week.
I wouldn't have
I
time
thought she just,
anyway.
I just wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
I went home today before I came here just in case it got dropped off this
Well,
morning or something.
I did go to Marion's today, but I thought you two were busy and out,
Yeah,
you probably
that's
wouldn't
fine.
go home first.
So this is for the first one, 3 Francis Street.
How many do we have?
We have 3.
All right.
All right, well, we'll be able to ask you guys for evidence and your opinions
Okay,
on
I
that
see.
too. So, right here, if you want to check on that one. Yes, so Eileen, that's why we didn't call or anything, is he's using a trailer for our events. So the trailer is just used for temporary events. So the trailer doesn't seem to need to be permitted. We can permit it individually at every location. So
Like a
if-
temporary event.
yeah, it's a temporary, yeah, because that's why I was wondering, and then when you said it was a truck, I said, okay, he used the trailer for us. The trailer's coming in, I want to say tomorrow or the next day, it's coming in. But we required him to get his thing. I remember he was on the phone with Terry on the 14th, so, and then when he got on the 16th, it must have been between you and Terry, telling him he needed the
No,
Hawks and
it
Peddlers.
was another town
Yeah,
that called and I said, and then he called and said, I want to come in tomorrow. I said, if you have it.
yeah,
He asked for a waiver and I said, we can.
no, definitely not on something like that.
No.
Do we have is anybody coming in for any of these 3? Do we know?
They have all been invited. I'm
Okay.
not sure if any of them.
All right.
I think they told Paula that.
They told me to want
Okay. All right. Well,
to.
that's
They had
good.
asked if they needed to be here. One had a class and something else, so they said they were gonna be here.
Well, that's good. They all start at 6. If somebody came in, I would do them first. Just
Yeah,
to, you know.
that's why we wanted to have them all at the same time, so
Yeah,
you can
it makes it
pick and
easy because we
choose,
can
yeah.
flip through them pretty quick, so we're not waiting the time. All right, we get about 20 seconds. It looks like, or less. Wow, I need my glasses. I get 6 o'clock on. All right. So at 6 o'clock, I would like to open the hearing on trash abatement request. The first hearing is for 3 Francis Street. And the evidentiary part of the hearing, Darlene, go.
Yes,
Here
so
you go.
3 Francis Street has submitted a trash abatement request to the town. They The owner has applied for the alternative solid waste disposal form and is disposing trash at the place of business. He has completed the alternative hauler information and has a signed approval from the business owner. It is being taken out of town, and we have all of the paperwork. Normally, I would recommend approval of this because they have provided satisfactory information on the place of approval. And we have a signed document from the business owner accepting the trash. However, this particular property has broken furniture, debris, and everything left at the property. So I spoke with the owner approximately about 10 days ago and explained, before I had spoken with him, I had been out to the site and left my cards and spoken with the owner, like I said, about 10 days ago, and explained the situation for the abatement. In order to process that, he couldn't have trash at the property. So I had spoken with him regarding getting rid of that. He said that he would take care of that, and I asked him to contact us when that was removed, and we'd go forward, to reinspection. That hasn't happened as of today, so I wanted to obviously bring it to the board because I don't want to hold it out any longer, because we're trying to obviously work with the owner. But he has debris at the property. So at this time, I wouldn't recommend the trash abatement because you can't show that the debris is being removed.
Okay.
Obviously.
Is there a dumpster there?
There's not a dumpster. He has one of the options for the town is if he has a business that gives us written proof that they are accepting it, and we do have that. So essentially, he said he could get rid of his trash through his business. We have a signed agreement from the business owner, and that is out of town.
All right. That's all the evidence. Close the evidence.
Motion to close evidentiary.
Second, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion. All right. So he was asked to remove the debris that was in the yard so that we could go forward with this, and it hasn't happened yet?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, the next step would be, essentially, I can send him a written order,
Yep.
written trash order. Obviously trying to work with the owner, because he has all the rest of the paperwork in place,
Yep.
but the debris is there. And I don't know if it's in the process of the house transferring or so forth, cleaning the house out. I don't know what the specifics are.
Yeah, but at least people gotten to you and said, oh yeah, this is what it is and this is how it's going to be taken care of, but he hasn't done that, so.
Now, billing cycle 7/1 to 12/31. Correct? Is the billing cycle in which he's requesting the abatement for which he's paid?
The billing cycle, I would have to check with the assessor. I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to guess on that.
I know it's every 6 months.
Right there, 7/1
Yeah.
to 12/31.
To 12/31, yeah.
And the toter was picked up.
The toters were picked up.
8/2.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that here somewhere.
Yeah.
Have we previously abated partial years? Partial?
That was
Periods.
a discussion previously.
Yeah.
And what did the solid waste committee say? Because remember you brought that to them and they
Yeah,
said no.
Right, they
They-
had
yeah.
not abated partial years.
Because we had asked them if we could do quarterly and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't, it wasn't gonna work for the building department either. It was gonna be an issue, and that was one of the complaints that came up from.
I mean, obviously going into a new trash contract this year, so I mean, if that's something that we want to look at changing, so that, you know, you can do partial abatements, I mean, that's certainly something that the,
Yeah.
you know, can be discussed between the board and the solid waste committee.
And based on the lack of previous and the fact that the solid waste committee has previously discouraged,
Mhm.
I would either be inclined to table this till the next meeting
Mhm.
so that you could approach solid waste again in regards to the new contract,
Mhm.
or just deny it outright because of the process that we had previously
Yeah.
done.
I'm also looking at the fact that they haven't cleaned the property. So if we abate this, they have nothing to say they're gonna get the property cleaned, you know what I mean? He kinda throws it out there, they're like, oh, we don't have to pay anything, we're done, and they can just leave the trash in the yard. So if the trash isn't being picked up by the yard, I have an issue with that,
Yeah.
so. Cause then we're gonna be going out there for other reasons, for,
Mhm.
harborage and all that. So, well, we can close discussion if you're ready to make a motion.
I mean, if it was, if the board denied it at this meeting, is there any, I don't know if there's
An appeal.
You mean it come back again
an
if he
appeal,
cleans
or
it?
could he request it after he cleaned the property?
I think we'd have to table it for that. If we make a decision, it's a
But
decision.
that's the thing is, I would deny it based on the fact, or I would motion to deny it based on the fact that we've never approved this type of request before based on solid waste committee's recommendations. The fact that there isn't trash, you know, would be really the question in regards to postponing a decision on this until we can get a further clarification from solid waste with their new contract.
Mhm.
I don't know if they would have a decision about it though, in
Yeah.
one meeting, you know what I mean? I mean, again, I don't know if you deny the request today, you may be able to put in for a later time, but not doing a partial.
It would be an appeal. I
Yeah.
think once we make a decision, it would have to be an appeal.
Hmm.
That's why we ask people to come in the night of so they can state their case.
I mean,
Hmm.
I can call again and see if, what his timeline for approving, I mean, I left the card again today.
I think that is, from my perspective, more relevant to the process that we've, so far, the precedent that has been set previously on other decisions.
I mean, I know we have abated when they've been into the cycle, but there was reasons why we abated, and this isn't one of the reasons,
Right.
just because of the sale, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Discussion over.
Motion to close discussion.
Second the motion, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, okay. I'll take a, do we have a motion on?
Motion to deny the request for abatement.
I second the motion, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That's it.
Motion to close.
Second, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next one would be 5 George Street. I'd like to open the hearing on 5 George Street. There's nobody here for 5 George Street, so do we have any evidence?
Yes. Okay, so 5 George Street, we received a request, and this is a request for stop service due to the property being vacant.
All right.
So the owner of this property had come to me approximately about maybe a month or so ago, and asked about the abatement process, and wanted to put in a request at that point, stating that the property was going to be vacant. At that time, he was still living there, or there were tenants living there. So I told him that he couldn't put the abatement request in until the property actually was vacant. So that did occur recently, and so he has come in. I have gone to the property appears to be vacant. And he has followed up on the advisement given from about a month or so ago.
Any more evidence?
No.
Okay.
Motion to close evidentiary.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion.
We previously voted on other cases in some situations for the abatement of the partial billing cycle. Do you recall those?
I'm trying to think back. We have had some. There's some we've had pay, there's some we've had
Yeah.
not pay. All depends on circumstances and when they got to us. This looks like he contacted Darlene in August, but the property still had people living in it. So they're into the cycle 3 months by now. We're in September and then now the property's vacant. So they're 3 months into the
July and
cycle.
August, 2 months, so
Well, yeah,
when
but,
September
I mean,
was a stop date request.
Yeah, September 21st is when
Yeah.
they received it, so
Right.
you're 2.5, 3
3
months into it. At this point, I don't think we've done anything abatement that far into it. I've seen a month, maybe 6
Right,
weeks, but I don't
right.
think I've seen 3 months in.
I think he came in on,
He did, like I said, he did
Co-
come in,
In August,
yeah.
saying he was gonna have the property empty, but they have to have trash there until they leave, so.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If this property sold on September 21st,
Mm-hmm.
and he already paid the 6 months,
Yep.
and someone new buys it, they're gonna double pay for that same
No.
property for 3 months?
No, the property is paid for until December 31st is what I was told in the past. It's the property, not the name on the property that's paid for.
Okay,
So that's what we've had in the past. So if in a sale, if he was to sell it, he could say, hey, look, I already paid for this bill for next, and work it into the sale. I mean, it's $54, it's 108, right? So it would be half the thing. But it's a lot of times like you sell the property, it's like, hey, you're covered until December 31st. Make sure you go and fill out, because right now everything's coming to my home address, not my, because it looks like he lives in one area of town and he rents the other place.
yeah, no.
So yeah, from what I was told in the past, it's the address, not the name that
So the
pays.
same thing would be that if we abated him,
Mhm.
then, and someone bought it in 2 weeks, they would then have to pay.
They would have
what
to
we
pay.
abated.
They would have to pay the 6 months, the 6 months fee for them, because they'd be coming in the middle of a cycle. That's the way it was
They
in the
don't
past.
prorate it.
I don't think they prorate
So they
anything.
would get a double, so say if we, you know what I mean, say if we abated him 3 months and gave him, told him he only had to pay for 3 months.
Well, we
And
don't do
someone
half.
would-
We don't do partial abatements. We'd even abate the whole 108.
Oh, then they would have to pay the 108, okay,
Yeah.
even if they were
So
only
right
there
now
for
he's
3
already got
months.
he's already got the service for 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. I can't add 11 weeks. I'm at the point where I'm like, you've had the service, finish it. I mean, the buckets have been picked up. It said, right? Was
The
it-
buckets have been.
have been
yeah.
picked up, but the service is there. When this is the way I look at it, and I may not be right, but when you're renting a property, you're collecting money to pay for these extra services. That's cleaning up the house, and if there's something that goes a little over, it's paid up. What if he rents it in November and he got the abatement? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's-
was looking to see if there was a recoupment. So
No.
if we gave him the abatement, would we be getting it back? And certainly, we don't want to be doubling on a property, but if it's paid, it's paid.
Yeah. So that's what was, since I've been on the board and we got solid waste 2 years into me on the board, that's the way it's been. It's the address that pays for it, and you either abate 6 months or you don't abate at all. We've never done partials, I don't think. I don't think we've done partials. We've seen bills that are the first 6 months, second 6 months, third 6 months, and we've abated like the third 6 months and made them pay the first 2. Because they came to us like 2 years after the fact trying to get out of it, so.
The toters were picked up on September 3rd.
All right, so it's 8 weeks in. Well, that's a discussion, so, any more discussion?
no.
Okay. close it.
Motion to close discussion.
I second the motion.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have a motion on the
Motion to
table?
deny the request for abatement.
I second that motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to close hearing on
Seconded.
5 George Street.
Seconded. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it is now 6:15. We have 30 Silver Street, another trash abatement.
Trash abatement. So the owner put in a request for trash abatement. This is a trash abatement request. The toters have been requested to be removed and have been removed. The trash for the alternative disposal is being disposed at the place of business. So the place of business identified is 18 Silver Street. The request is for 30 Silver Street. And so because this is a Auburn address, we just have to ensure that it's a licensed hauler in town.
Okay.
And so we just need the licensed hauler. So the application in itself is incomplete.
Incomplete.
Yeah. Several attempts have been made to contact the owner. And essentially, we would just need the alternative, the licensed trash hauler for the alternative
Well,
trash removal.
so,
You're talking the licensed hauler from the business?
Right, because the business is in Auburn,
Right, right.
so any disposal company working in Auburn has to be licensed in Auburn. So we just need the hauler to come off of our approved list. So essentially, if we get that, then I would recommend approval.
but we don't have that.
When will the toters do?
I'm not sure if I have that or not.
Motion to close evidentiary.
Second motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion. I look at one thing, incomplete application.
Complete application. Motion to close this discussion.
Second motion.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have a motion on the table? What, do we want to make a motion?
I can't make a motion with an incomplete application. I can make a motion of not making a motion or make a
So you
motion
want a motion continue?
to continue until the application is complete.
Then it's gonna be way into the time, so we'll see. All right,
Will
I
service,
yeah,
has service been discontinued?
yeah, I second the motion.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so I just need a
Motion to close hearing on 30 Silver Street.
second motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
So motion to continue,
Motion continue.
once the application is complete.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have a discussion, not a hearing. It's 6:15, it's now 6:19 on Jack's Variety. He did say that he would be here, but he's not here yet. So, if we wait a minute, oh no, well actually these are discussions, they don't have to be exactly on time, they're not a hearing. So we can talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken unless somebody's coming in for them, are they?
No,
No?
I don't believe so.
Okay, then if, I'd like to move Kentucky Fried Chicken to now and move Jack's Variety to the end and see if he shows up. Is that okay with everybody? Steve, is that okay with you?
Yep.
All right, so at this time, it is 6:20. This is just a discussion on the new process for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
So I put a package in there for Kentucky Fried Chicken. They had contacted us regarding partial cooking of their chicken. And the food code that I have in here for you, just so you're aware, is not the 2009 food code. And the state of Massachusetts has adopted the 2009 food code, not the 2013. But the process that they want to use for this is the new process in the 2013 code.
Okay.
So I'm not asking us to follow the 2013, but I wanted to show you what they had in there in regards to their process.
I have a quick question. When did we adopt the 2009? I thought we were still off the 1999.
Oh, 1999, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I get nervous
I
because I'm
didn't
like,
wanna
I got
interrupt
nervous
you.
because
No,
I'm still
wait.
using the
Yeah, no, that's- I have
1999.
I have it
1999.
open here.
Okay.
She
All right,
did
that's
it.
fine.
1999.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't messing something up, so, all right, good.
So when they had actually put the, so of course I was looking in our reg rate for the 3401
Yep.
14, and finally I just started looking into all the federal food codes and I found it in the newest one, which is probably why they have been advised to go to their local
Yes.
boards for
Yep.
regulatory approval. So I did include what they had sent us, which is their HACCP plan.
Yep.
And they did a really detailed job on it. And if you go through, they want their chicken strips to be blanched. So they want to bread them, blanch them, and then cool them and recook them at another time. It's non-continuous cooking of poultry, which I believe, based on even what I'm reading here, if we want to move forward, will still require an approval from our department. So,
Yeah, I ended up 2 weeks ago okaying it in Webster.
you did?
Yeah, I was the one who was in charge of it in Webster because Jennifer's still too new, so they gave it to me, and I did the same thing you did, couldn't find it, but then when I read through the way they were doing it, it still falls within the 4-hour window. So it falls in that 4-hour, you know,
The cooling?
yes.
Yeah.
So it still falls in that, so it's, even though they put it in the 2013 food code, it's one of those things that if you just follow a regular HACCP plan, it fits in the window.
The key is that in the 1999, they're not telling you it's going to require a HACCP plan.
Exactly.
And I believe it does.
It does. Anytime you're going to change the food, you have to do
Right,
that.
so reading this,
Yep.
I was really interested to see what they had put in. I
Yep.
think they did a great job in
Yeah,
this.
they did, yeah.
Which details what you probably had to do on your own, pull from all the different areas to get something to pull
Yep.
together to say, you really need a HACCP plan, and you really need an approved process from the Board of Health to allow that type of
Yeah.
cooking. But you're right, Ray, I read through everything, and including the 1999, and
If
if it's
falls in
done
the,
based on this,
it falls in the windows, so you're all set. I think with the 2013, there's a lot of places who are doing this, so they decided to make it its own code and do it its own way.
yeah, the
So that
risk
way-
part of it is that you're not fully cooking the chicken, and so you're actually gonna go through the critical control points more than once with raw poultry. And so that in itself, not done correctly,
Oh yeah, cause a lot of
it's
issues.
a high risk.
No,
so-
definitely a HACCP plan. I mean, they have the HACCP chart, just putting together a HACCP plan and having us do a HACCP plan. It's like sushi rice, you know, you
Yeah.
gotta do it, but
Yeah.
sushi rice is held at room temperature, so that one's a little more.
Yeah, the non-continuous cooking of the meat,
Yeah.
I think,
Yep.
poses a
It's
lot
a-
of high risk if it's not done exactly
Mhm.
according to their plan.
Yeah.
And if it's not cooled, they put in a lot of monitoring, and one of the biggest
Yeah.
things they need to do is ensure that it cools in a proper amount of time.
Yep,
To put
exactly.
in the cooler, because if it stays at that danger level.
And they put it right in the fridge. You
For
got it.
longer than it should,
Uncle Sal comes and visits.
yeah. So, they've presented us with this,
Yeah.
and it says that I didn't know that they had done it in this state, because it says they've done it in like 4
Yep.
other states, and they're starting to come into Massachusetts, so.
Yeah, this is about the time we got the same letter in August that
I
you
think
received.
there's only a couple, I mean, I
There's,
tried
there's,
to,
there's Framingham, Webster, us, and then maybe 4 or 5 others. I mean,
Yeah, there's
I
not a
think the
lot.
one in Worcester's still there.
This is all the Kentucky
On
corporation.
yeah.
That's-
Yeah, yeah, they're all most of them now are KFC, Taco Bell. There's not too many just
Is that where
KFCs.
they're working now with Taco Bell, KFC
Yeah,
for us?
yeah.
I asked,
So-
her when she initially called, to identify which towns in Massachusetts
Mm-hmm.
had gone through the process already, because,
Yeah.
you know, why reinvent the wheel?
Real,
here?
exactly.
And the representative that originally reached out to us didn't have any clue about that.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, well, I know we're supposed to contact you. I'm like, okay, yep.
Yeah,
I've got that.
Yeah.
But if you're going through the state, is the state requiring it, or are you
Well-
going through individual towns?
Yeah, they seem to be going to individual towns, and because they told us, and we've contacted, and I was on the other side of the phone. It was on speaker, and I said Auburn, Framingham, and she's like, yes, because I've worked in all those, and I know Shrewsbury has one too. So
so I'll tell you why it's a discussion then and not a hearing to approve for a variance, is because the 1999 code really, as you put the pieces together, doesn't have it listed that they would require a variance. The 2013 does.
Yep.
And we're not following that code. So it would normally just be an approval for us to say, okay, yeah, based on the code that we're working with right now,
yep.
they
and,
actually
and if we
can do it.
adopt the 2013 or the 2015 or whatever comes up next, any places like that are doing something to that would have to have a variance.
Yes.
Because even in
This type of cooking doesn't even require a HACCP based
No,
on.
based
the-
on the 1999, yeah, exactly. And that's how we passed it in Webster. I was like, they're
Yeah.
within code, They are
It's totally within code,
Yeah.
so but I wanted to let you know
Yeah.
that they did, what I think that the restaurant should be doing.
yeah.
to-
Cover
to
their
do this
bases.
kind of cooking.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's great. No, I saw the packet before. They did a really good job with that.
So if you want us to put it on the next meeting so they can go for a vote to do a variance,
Well, it's up to you. I know we have to have a variance for sushi. We have to have variance on anything that's going to add vinegar. So I have places in other towns who they're making they're fermenting cabbage, and because they're fermenting it in vinegar, they have to get a HACCP plan.
Right.
And they do pickles.
that's
they
for
do pickling.
preservation, but
Yes.
I don't think the
This
blanching
that's
is
what
for
I'm
preservation.
well. That's what I'm saying. If it's okay with this now, but it's something you have to put a note in the file saying, watch the food codes. If we adopt a new food code and it's in there, then we have to bring them forward and say, okay, we know you've been doing it for 2 years, but now under the food code you need a variance. And I think to me, that's what I would do. Is just when it's time for a variance, yes, we know you've been doing it for 2 years, you've been doing it correctly, you're doing everything right. The new code says you have to have a variance. And if they're doing it in every other state, they know they should have a variance. Just Massachusetts doesn't require it because we haven't jumped on the 2013 bandwagon yet. So
Yeah. And the only thing would be time
time as a
and
public
temperature,
yeah.
but they're not doing that.
No.
They're cooling within 6 hours. They're
Yep.
doing the 2 and 4, and
Okay. All right.
we're good with
So that's
what-
good with them. Yep. And all right. Well, it's now 6:29. We can't hold off any longer. So the discussion was more for Jack. I think he wanted questions answered, and really can't answer unless he's here to ask the question. And I mean, I know he typed it in on his email, but he's not helping us by not being here to ask the question because we can't figure out what exactly he wants. You know, it's not like, because there are nuances in every question. So the only question I saw was he wants to know if the drip tray is considered a food contact surface. I'll tell you right now, the way I look at it when I go in and do an inspection, if that's dirty, I write it up as a food contact surface. Because your cup is going on the drip tray. Your cup is going on the table. Your cup is going here. I've always considered a food's contact surface, that area from where the spigot comes down to the base, I've always considered food contact. I don't know how you write it up, if you find it that way. If you're writing it up as a non-food contact surface, then we can look at it being a non-food contact surface. The problem being, whether it's a food contact surface or a non-food contact surface, it is not a clean in place item, so it has to be washed in a 3-bay sink, or in another way that's going to make it clean, wash, rinse, and sanitize. So I don't know what that question has to do with his whole coffee service, and he's not here to explain that to me.
The second part of that is to clarify whether a drip tray is a health hazard, so I
It
don't.
can be, it grows mold. If you leave food on it and you don't clean it, it takes less than 24 hours to grow mold.
Coffee's considered a food.
Coffee's gonna, anything,
Yeah, I consider it a food contact.
aspirin is considered a food because you imbibe it. If you, anything you can eat, it goes through your mouth, is considered a food. That's why we do bars too, because liquor, alcohol, all that. So, yes, drip trays can be a health hazard if they're not cleaned. We asked them already to clean them appropriately, and I think that seems to me, but without him here to talk to me, it seems that's what he wants to do, is he just wants to find a way around getting that thing clean and getting the dishwasher or the 3-bay sink. And from what I saw, he has not given you spec sheets on the dishwasher. Then he can't bring in a dishwasher until you have spec sheets. He can't put it in place until we have spec sheets. I don't know what else to say, he's not here. So, I don't know, and you can't speak for him, I don't want you speaking for him, he needs to speak for himself. Steve, anything to, sorry, I go on my rant when it has to do with
That's
food.
good. That's good. You're the expert on that.
So just to be clear,
Yep.
this was a request, and without, in speaking with Eileen regarding the limited information that we have
Yep,
from Jack, I don't see how we can act upon anything
no,
without further information.
Mhm.
I know that Eileen has requested that information, but we haven't received it at this time.
Has he been serving coffee since April 1st?
No, sir.
Okay.
that's just no respect. But anyways, sorry. All right, any other business we need to go over before we get to next meetings?
So is there no action on that?
Well, it was just a discussion.
Okay.
So he didn't contact us. All I'm saying is,
So the questions answered are yes and
yes and yes.
yes and yes.
And the other thing is, I noticed that he hasn't given you the paperwork on the dishwasher, so the dishwasher, I mean, that you know that, the dishwasher can't come in, so I'm not even, we don't have to take action. Okay, anything else?
No, it would just be the next meeting dates.
Yep. 19th and the 26th. They're a week apart, is that because of holiday?
The holiday, yes, so I just put them both in there to see what you guys' choice was. But the 12th, our normal meeting, is Columbus Day.
Is Columbus Day, that's what I figured.
Right.
All right, 19th is the,
I mean, we could.
I didn't know if you wanted both.
19th gives us about a month or so. Till the next meeting?
26.
you work the 26th, so let's
So 19th.
let's set up the 19th.
19th works?
Yeah, that gives us 3 weeks. Yeah, that works.
All right, so the 19th it is.
That's a busy week. All right, it works for me. If there's
So-
nothing else, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we'll go with the 19th, and then we'll look at the November schedule, because we're
Yep.
going into the holidays
Yep.
after that.
And also, usually we try and have a meeting before the flu clinics, or as close to the
Yes.
flu clinics as we
Yep.
can. So, how many doses did the state give us?
Approximately 200, I think.
Okay.
I think we have about 200.
Yeah, and those are for underinsured and children under the age of 18, is that what it was?
I believe so.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
what their target
Yeah.
audience is.
Mhm. And then we
and-
have the extra that you can do the pay for, so.
Right.
All
So
right.
that's, we're fortunate in the fact that, this board sees that as a priority, not
Mhm.
all boards of health do. So, I thank you for that. It's something that, Eileen and I both strongly agree with, so.
All right.
How many did we go through last year? Do you recall
Um,
offhand?
Was it close
We
to
were over-
400?
Yeah, I wanna
I
say
thought it
it
was
was
370 something, but I'm not sure.
mid
What,
300s.
mid 300s?
Yeah, it was over 300.
Yeah. We trending up or down or pretty even with that? I know we had a spike a few years ago.
Yeah, well, we did 1,500. That was the
Would that be-
H1N1.
yeah, but with that being an outlier, we
Yeah.
If you'd
fairly
like, I can,
consistent.
yeah, I can give you, I wouldn't wanna guess off the top of my head,
Yeah.
so.
Were we looking at November dates or not?
Oh, no, not today.
Not
We'll
yet.
do that at the next meeting. So,
Not
If-
specific numbers, just a general
Yeah.
trend. I'm more curious about
Yeah.
that. I could get more specific off of the CDC or DPH websites, but
Yeah. If I am able to set up a senior clinic
Mhm.
before the next meeting,
yeah,
is
that's.
that okay?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That
Okay.
one, it's usually before the big one that you need. The
Mhm.
senior
Yeah.
clinic is done during the day.
Yes.
The other clinic is usually in the evening or in the afternoon where I like to be there, or,
Yeah, that-
or on weekend. I like
that would
to
be great.
show up to those.
Okay.
Are we doing anything at the fall festival this year? I know in the past we have.
Well, depending on the vaccine amounts.
Okay.
I mean, we would have to, if we were going to do that, that would have to be something that would happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because
That
the
one, I
fall
mean-
festival's the
when's the fall
10th, right?
festival?
It's-
Do you recall?
It's Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah, if it's something happens, give us a call and let me know it's gonna be there. I usually just pop by on that one and see how things are going, and that's it. But, all right, if there's nothing else,
Do you think, motion to adjourn?
I second that motion. How do you
Thank
vote?
you.
Aye.
Aye. Have a good evening.
End up at night.